It's been 24 hours since this horrible, terrible, very bad, no good day at UNESCO yesterday, and
How do you really feel now?
Israel hasn't, it's the U.S. position, I think, Israel hasn't fallen into the sea. It doesn't look like thousands of Palestinians have descended on Israel waving little UNESCO flags. I don't think that you can say that Israel's security has been affected at all by this, and I'm wondering if it's still your position that this was bad for and this hurt the peace, the efforts to bring the two sides back to the table.
Our position on this hasn't changed. We think that this was the wrong move at the wrong time, and we've made that view clear. We made it clear yesterday, and our view hasn't changed overnight. We have made absolutely clear to the Palestinians, we're making clear to our partners around the world that we oppose continuing this effort in other UN organizations, and we are prepared to maintain our same position if this comes up in other places.
What exactly have you told the Palestinians that you're going to do if they continue to do this? There doesn't seem, you're opposed to it, and yet you're still fighting for them to get funding from Congress. While you have warned the Palestinians about the mood on the Hill, you have also taken the unprecedented step of asking Israeli officials, including the Prime Minister, to call members of Congress and tell them to continue to support funding for the Palestinians. So I don't understand how the administration, on one hand, is punishing UNESCO for this, and yet you're not doing anything to the very people that made this a problem in the first place.
Well, let's start with why we're cutting off UNESCO funding. We're cutting off UNESCO funding because we have legislation on the books. We have U.S. law that requires this in the event of any effort to gain statehood this way, and we were absolutely clear about that before it happened. At the same time, we believe that the security support that the United States provides to the Palestinian Authority supports peace and increasing strength of local authorities to provide for the security of their own people, and that's very important. And it's particularly important at a time where moves like the move in UNESCO could lead to increased tension. So we need security forces to be strong and alert and well-funded. The Palestinians do not take themselves any closer to a state in secure borders living next to their neighbor in peace by these moves. And the risk is that the environment for the conversations and the negotiations that have to take place doesn't get better, it gets worse by these kinds of moves. We've been absolutely clear at the beginning, before UNESCO and with regard to other agencies, what would happen under U.S. law, that we are compelled by U.S. law to cut off funding. So this is not a matter of blackmailing. This is a matter of a disagreement between us and a number of other countries about the best way to help the Palestinian people. We continue to believe that the best way to help the Palestinian people is to get to the peace table. None of these things change quality of life for one Palestinian. If you care about the Palestinian people, the best way forward is to get to the negotiating table and get them a state.
The tension is coming just because the Israelis are angry. They don't like this, correct?
Because this is a move to get statehood by the back door rather than to get it at the negotiating table, which does not contribute to the environment for getting back to the table.
Fair enough.